Hello lovely viewers, welcome to my channel. I am Anna, hope your day is so well. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Beverly Ortega's sudden exit from The Bachelor has left the audience confused and full of questions. Ortega, who was chosen for a one-on-one date with The Bachelor lead Grant Ellis during episode 3 of the ongoing season 29, had to cancel her date on the day of as she was very sick. While viewers were not offered much information beyond that on the episode, Ortega, a 30-year-old insurance salesperson from Howard Beach, New York, recently appeared on the Bachelor Happy Hour podcast with Joe Amabile and Serena Pitt to give more insight behind her premature departure from the show and share what exactly went down on the day of the date. Before diving into the details, Ortega said she was honestly so happy about the one-on-one date and that she and Grant felt the same about their strong connection. However, fate had other plans for her. Ortega said after it was revealed she would be going on a one-on-one date with Ellis, she took a nap and woke up from it to her stomach hurting. I'm like, okay, maybe I should just go to the bathroom, or the food didn't sit well, Ortega said. I start throwing up. I'm like, maybe I just need to get it out. So, my stomach is continuing to hurt. I'm like in excruciating pain. I'm continuing to throw up. It's a mess. This goes on for 12 hours. Ortega, who has also been diagnosed with anxiety, said though her panic attacks occasionally cause her to vomit, she knew something wasn't right because she wasn't feeling anxious. I know my body. I'm listening to my body. Something is not okay. I wasn't sure if it was food poisoning, Ortega said. My whole stomach was hurting, so it's not like one side. I didn't think it was anything serious. I was like, maybe I'm just in really bad stomach pain. At this point, because I had gone so long throwing up, I was like, this is probably why my stomach's hurting even more, because I have nothing in my tummy. However, as Ortega continued to remain in pain, production eventually decided the best course of action would be to take her to the hospital. After a dose of morphine and 3 hours in the emergency room, the doctor told Ortega she has appendicitis and needs emergency surgery. At that point, I still was not really processing, Ortega said, adding she previously already had her gallbladder removed in 2018. Her father suggested she fly back to New York for the surgery, but the risk of her appendix bursting on the plane was too high, so she decided to stay put and get her operation done in California. After the surgery, Ortega said she and her family decided it would be best for her to not return to filming and go back home to recover given the physical stress of the show. Honestly, it took me like a month and a half to recover emotionally, Ortega said of the experience. Physically, obviously, I was okay, but emotionally, I was not. Ortega said she was left with the what if because she felt like they were building a connection. He saw and felt like exactly what I was seeing and feeling, Ortega said. I know they didn't show a lot of our moments, but we did have a lot of cute little moments. She added they even kissed, but even that didn't make it to the episodes. On top of that, she didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to Grant or explain what happened. I was really sad, really bummed out. I hope he didn't think that like I left just because, she said. However, she feels everything happens for a reason. I was like, what are the odds that my appendix will act up the day, like days before I get a one-on-one, Ortega said. I was looking forward to the one-on-one because, again, I deal with anxiety and I was obviously going to open up to Grant about that, which is a really huge part of my life. I wanted to see what his reaction was, if it was something that he was able to handle. It was really sad that we didn't get that moment. While her Bachelor journey may not have ended the way she had hoped it would, Ortega is not letting the experience weigh her down and says she is 1000% open to going on Bachelor in Paradise for a second chance at finding love within the franchise. I feel like if I would have made it further, I probably wouldn't have considered Paradise, but because I didn't make it that far, yes, Ortega said. Because I do want to get married. I'm 30 years old, I'm ready for kids and family. I've always been like a relationship type of girl. And that was like my intention going on the show. Despite Ortega's untimely exit, the show went on and Ellis had a one-on-one date with Carolina in Las Vegas, while the other one-on-one date turned into a group date with Dina, 31, Lisha, 31, and Serafina. The quad went to Vanderpump Dogs in LA, where they helped Lisa Vanderpump take care of some of the rescue's dogs. After the group activity, Ellis chose to spend the evening with Lisha. Jesse Palmer hosted The Bachelor's Women Tell All special on Monday, March 10th, when the group of women who Grant, 31, didn't pick reunited, and looked back on what unfolded so far. The episode opened with Carolina showing off a custom outfit that featured quotes she said throughout the season, and the group reflecting on how Grant's finalist Zoe stole him away during the basketball group date early in the season. Beverly claimed Zoe, 27, was gone for an hour during that group date, and Serafina expressed regret for commenting on the length of Zoe's dress. Serafina, 29, referred to it as quite possibly the worst thing I think I've ever said. Bachelor Grant Ellis says he handled myself well during fantasy suites after a year of being celibate. The associate media director shared that she's since apologized to Zoe. "We have to give her some grace," Serafina said of Zoe. Jesse, 46, asked Rose about the conversation with Carolina, 28, in which the public relations producer took away that Grant was thinking about someone else when they danced on stage during the second group date of the season. "We were like laughing and giggling," Rose, 27, alleged of her talk with Carolina. "Like, there was no part of me that thought she was upset about what I had told her." Carolina said she wanted to wait until Grant came out to the stage to discuss it further, and later, during her time in the hot seat, said she didn't believe that Rose wasn't just pulling that out of thin air. After Serafina and First Impression Rose recipient Alex, who told Jesse she thought she had the season in the bag, had turns in the hot seat, Dina took center stage. Dina, 31, told Jesse that she and Grant only spoke once about how her family declined to participate in her hometown visit. "We never really talked about it again," the attorney claimed. Then Dina revealed that she actually played a part in making that choice not to include her family in hometowns, which seemingly led to her elimination. "It was ultimately my decision to not have my family be a part of it," Dina said. "I have a really big family. Half of it were okay with it, and the other half, mostly my brothers, were, this is not okay. This is so fast. She's not going to be able to have a guy who's been dating 25 girls be faithful to her." Like, they didn't trust the process, and so when I found out that my family were at odds with each other about it and it was causing polarizing views, I was like, let's just do a friends thing. Grant ended up meeting a group of Dina's friends at a pumpkin patch in Chicago. "I'm not going to have my family meet Grant, and the whole time I'm having to convince them of the process and convince them that I'm ready to get engaged when I don't know that I necessarily was convinced of that myself," Dina continued. When Jesse asked Dina if she regretted her decision not to include her family, she said she did, a little bit. Later, when Grant came out, Dina told the day trader that she felt a little shocked by the way he spoke about not meeting her family in confessional interviews. She also apologized if she made Grant not feel like he could speak openly with her about that topic. "That's not that," Grant said to Dina. "You're amazing and you're wonderful, and your family not being there was not the reason. It wasn't the reason. It was just things that I was looking for, just what was best for me." Grant also expressed to Dina that, if we were to end up at the end, there's time to meet the family. When Carolina entered the hot seat, Jesse began by asking her if she regretted going to Grant about the conversation with Rose, which ultimately caused the registered nurse to exit the show. "I feel really bad about what meant for Rose," Carolina said. "When it comes to my relationship with Grant, it was either that or me leaving." Then Carolina addressed her own departure that happened after Dina told Grant, "There are other people here who are just thinking about themselves and are not necessarily willing to take accountability." "I was blindsided," Carolina told Jesse of being elimination. "And the worst part of it all is hearing him to tell Dina he had clocked it because, in what time between my conversation with him and his conversation with Dina had he clocked it?" Carolina said she hoped Grant would take some accountability for how things played out between them, and she asked him about when he clocked what Dina said about her. "If there's something there that is negative, that's what I noticed," Grant explained, citing Carolina's demeanor during the group date in Scotland as something he picked up on. Carolina confessed she was really bummed during that date. "It was very hard for me to live in an environment where I felt so hated," she said. Ally Jo refuted that everyone hated Carolina, claiming that Carolina kept to herself and did not interact with the majority of the women. "It started from the first night," the boxing trainer, 30, said. Jesse closed out the show by asking a magic mirror to play back the conversation Grant had with Rose, in which he supposedly told her he was thinking about her while dancing with Carolina. "I'm very interested in you," Grant said to her in the flashback. "Even today, you know, the whole dancing thing on stage and everything, I was thinking about you." I don't want you to feel like I'm not paying attention because I am. Back on stage, Grant clarified to Rose. As far as referring to, dancing with Carolina and thinking about you, that's where we strayed. But, bad communication on my part, Grant said. Rose took responsibility for her role in this situation too. Misinterpretation on my part, she said. We're wrapping up here for today, but the excitement of trending gossip doesn't stop here. We'll be back with new surprises very soon. So stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe.